All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for taking the time out today from your busy schedules. I know a lot of you have had back-to-back meetings, so appreciate your patience and hanging in there. Welcome to week 4 of continuing education. So today we're going to cover 3 different topics. We're going to go over building relationships with operations, realtor engagement, and then also navigating LinkedIn. So this is going to be a more high-level overview of all of those. For those reps who are in the field, you're probably going to be familiar with a lot of the stuff we're talking about. So if there's anything that you'd like to chime in or add or suggestions, please feel free. So any tips, anything like that is greatly appreciated. The inside reps who are now, working in market. So this stuff's going to be new information. So just talking about how to connect with ops and, set up events and whatnot in your local market. So as we always do, I'm going to start off with a quote. So to effectively communicate, we must realize that we are all different in the way we perceive the world and use this understanding as a guide to our communication with others. And that's by Tony Robbins, author and motivational speaker. I'm sure we're all pretty familiar with who Tony Robbins is. So in essence, this quote, it all ties back to our core values that we've learned from the other trainings and just being SEs, just to show empathy when you're dealing with people and to be a good listener. So when you communicate, whether it's with a homeowner or another employee, we need to enter that conversation with an open mind and also understanding. We don't know what's going on in their shoes, and we all need to practice, patience with each other, and just take time out that someone might be going through a terrible day or they've got a lot on the plate. We've got to sit back and realize that. All right, so why are we here today? So the goals from this segment, there's going to be 3 different parts. So right now it's to create awareness around the importance of internal and external relationships. And primary takeaways are just going to be effective ways to network, to build a social media presence and engage realtors and relationships with operations teams. So cross-functional partners. So this really breaks down to don't know what that was there. Breaks down to who is who and really what does what in our organization. So a lot of these names, LOM, GM terminology gets thrown around, and some of us might not know what those terms mean. So let's just dig in a bit into the roles of these cross-functional partners that we have. So first of all, we've got local operations or ops. So they're going to be the people, if we're dealing with a partnership program, if we need to get eyes on a home, for standard unit appearance, to see if a home is of Vacasa quality, if we can actually service the home, if the location is in a place we can service, to find out what the linen and terry policy is in that market, and also if we have any general housekeeping questions pertaining to that market. So can someone on the call give me an example of when we would reach out to local ops?
I can.
Okay.
I actually had to reach out to local ops this morning, just in general to find out about safety procedures for certain houses, and what fire extinguishers need to be in houses, what, all fire codes, things like that. You need to ask them in specific in the market.
Great stuff, Brittany. Fantastic. Thank you. April.
Hey, Daniel, I have 2, if that's okay.
By the way, please.
Okay, eyes on home.
Brilliant.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then I honestly always check with them when I have a unit that I want an agreement signed on. Like, I just want to triple check, make sure we're in the area, even if it's a mile off the road. I want to make sure that we service. So I just triple check all the time with them too.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks, April. Yeah, I mean, I don't think as SEs, I don't think we can check in enough to find out, because things always change, so it's always great to be certain than, risk a deal not going through because of something that came up along the way. So brilliant. Thank you all. So sales operations of ops. So sales operations, their role is going to be to support the SEs, for Salesloft support, Salesforce support, or to define, and also they build the processes we work by. Can I get an example of when we would reach out to sales ops, please? Tyler. think you're on mute there, mate.
Crap. Sorry, guys.
No problem, man.
I was just asking sales ops earlier today about whether a homeowner signing incentive had been paid out, and sales ops likes to wrangle those kinds of things.
Brilliant, Tyler. Thank you. Great example. Exactly. And then we've got the onboarding managers. Bill, sorry.
That's okay. Some of the things that I reach out to sales ops is lots of times there could be duplicates in the system with contacts, and they are fabulous for being able to combine those. I've tried to do it myself. It's above my pay grade, and they are able to help it out.
Brilliant, Bill. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, sales ops is really just to make it a bit easier for us to do our jobs, because we're all going to come across hurdles in Salesforce where we can just chat to them and get, the situation to worked out. So fantastic. So next, onboarding managers, also known as OBMs. So they're going to manage the onboarding queue, assign, onboarding coordinators to units, or help with escalations. Has anyone reached out to an OBM or can give me an example when they have, dealt with an OBM? Jeff.
Yeah, when we sign units, we usually pass them on over to the onboarding managers, who then distribute them to the onboarding coordinators, and they'll kind of tell you right away if you're missing anything right off the bat. So that's kind of
perfect.
when I communicate with them.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jeff. Yeah, that's exactly right. Bill.
I reach out to our onboarding managers all the time. We have 2 or 3 in market, and one of them, we pretty much have a standing weekly meeting just to review everything that's currently in onboarding, what's coming up. They are our lifeblood, just as important as sales ops, so is our onboarding managers.
Brilliant. I mean, that standard weekly meeting is, when I was an SE, I would have killed for that. That's a fantastic idea. Brilliant stuff. Brittany.
Jeff just brought up something, and I just want to make sure that I'm maybe not doing something incorrectly. As far as I was told, we are just clicking ready to onboard and it auto assigns in our market. Is that market specific that it assigns to the manager and then they distribute? Or is it if you click ready to onboard, it'll auto assign?
I believe I think that the process is, like Jeff said, it would actually go to the onboarding manager and then they assign who has the most bandwidth to handle it. So it would be auto assigned from when you submitting it. It would go to somebody.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Kinda. I'll just off market on that one.
Perfect. George.
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback on Jeff and Brittany. Well, first off, our onboarding manager here is one of my best friends I grew up with, so I annoy him with all sorts of questions. But besides that, things that I'm supposed to go to him with, I always double check, especially after the layoffs and everything like that, in the bandwidth of specific onboarding coordinators that are in market versus out of market, and kind of understanding what every individual home would need and how unique it is, where some require a lot more kind of in-person attention, where others are just sending a photographer over to the house. So kind of understanding exactly what each onboarding coordinator's bandwidth is, not just with number of units, but in market versus out of market, and how that kind of plays together, and which ones should go to which coordinators.
Great stuff. It sounds like you've got a great connection with the team there. I wish we all could have a best friend as a, onboarding manager and make everything a bit easier. So next we've got a good segue there, the onboarding coordinators. So the onboarders are going to onboard the homes. In certain markets, they will take the photographs. In certain markets, they will do inspections. So can I get an example when someone's reached out to an onboarding coordinator, or, it's probably more likely they've reached out to us. Kathleen, please.
I reach out to my onboarding coordinator a lot just to make sure that we're on the same page, whether it be what's happening in my market with the local operations, housekeeping, time of year, when the home is ready. It could go into onboarding and then the homeowner says, oh, I still need to do ABC.
Yeah.
So I'm in constant communication with Cheyenne.
That's brilliant. I think that's the way we have to be, just to stay on top of what's going on in the situation. When we don't want to be left in the dark and you don't hear anything, then you've got all these tasks you've got to perform. So brilliant. Brittany.
I actually talk to my onboarding coordinators on a daily basis. I don't know if that's standard, but I am talking to them regularly. And I actually created a checklist for, minimum rates and things like that, so that this way there's no confusion between them and I. And we just discuss, hey, if the house is missing, like I talked about before, the fire extinguisher, who's going to get that item? Them, the homeowner, where is it going to be shipped to? Things like that, so that this way we're all on the same page for the house to go live in a timely manner.
Amazing stuff, Brittany. That's great. I mean, keeping people accountable like that, just to know who's responsible for what task is fantastic. Because a lot of times, like you said, someone might say I need fire extinguisher. No one gets it, and then a couple of weeks pass and it still hasn't been put in the house. So fantastic. April.
I have always, ever since I started here, always have been in constant contact with the onboarding coordinator. I just feel like we need that one-on-one relationship. About 3 months ago, I had an onboarding coordinator tell me, do not reach out to me until I reach out to you if I need help. And I was just kind of taken back, because I'll do anything for you, if I need to get another signature, whatever. But I was kind of taken back by that, because she straight up told me, do not reach out unless I need help. I'll ask you.
Gotcha. I mean, I guess that goes back to everyone works differently and communicates differently. So, I mean, we've got, I guess, tailor our approach depending on who we're working with. But yeah, I think to have that daily relationship is a massive plus. And I think everyone should have that. So great stuff, everybody. Thank you. All right. So best practices here with as far as talking to operations. Introduce yourself to your local operations team when you're assigned a market. I think sounds like we've all doing a really great job of that anyway. Attend weekly operations meetings in person or via Slack. Looks like some of us are also doing that, so great stuff. Join operations Slack channels for your markets, and I'm sure we're all kind of doing that anyway. So, I mean, it's all about really just creating relationships. We all work better when we can, trust the person we're talking with and we know a little about them. Everybody's got their own quirks, like we just talked about, April, their own way of doing things. So when you know a person, it's easier to know where you're coming from. If you receive a one-off Slack message from someone you don't know, I mean, the tone of message could be taken the wrong way. Like, why is this guy mad at me? What's this all about? But if you know that person, you might have a bit more understanding on why they talk the way they do. Maybe that's just the way they are. They're just, straight to the point. So just to teach back here, how to find a local operations partner in Carto. I'm sure majority of us, if not all of us, know that. But if I could just have someone tell me, say I'm looking for an operations partner in Carto, how would I go about finding that person? Jamie, please.
Yes, sir. Basically, the easiest way is when you go to Carto, you utilize the second one, which is the BD drops down, and whatever area you're looking for, you type in that area zip code or address that you're closest to, and then you'll see the blue houses that populate. Once you click on a blue house, it'll literally start telling you all the folks that are a part of that area as ops. And so, Jackie Devins, a local operations manager, you click on their name and then it'll move you on to their managers and then their local ops team.
Brilliant. It's like you were reading the instructions point for point. Well done. That's fantastic. That's exactly it. I've got nothing to add there. Great stuff. All right. So next, I've just got a little chart here of how I should reach out to my operations partners. So if you can see there, and you'll all have access to this chart and this class after, but it just breaks it down how to get a hold of people. So sales ops, you're not going to call them. Local ops, the best way to get a hold of them probably is a phone call. They're not going to be really sitting around on Slack. They're out in the field doing stuff. Like see onboarding, they're not going to take phone calls, and then vendors would be Slack or admin. So, and it's really just, that's going to change depending on how, this is kind of a broad overview. The closer you get with that person, they might have different ways they want you to communicate with them. But I think that's kind of just a nice overview, that graph to show you which way to go. All right, so group exercise partnership scenario. So just going to read this off, and what we'll do, we'll just give me some feedback in the chat. So imagine this. So Holly is an inside SE working with a homeowner in Miami. The homeowner says they are ready to sign, but they want to shake hands with someone local who works for Vacasa prior to signing. How would you advise Holly to proceed in the situation? So you just, Kathleen, please.
I would reach out to the local operations manager.
Perfect.
And have Suzanne and work it as a partnership.
Brilliant. Perfect. Brittany.
I'd actually find an SE that would actually be willing to go to the house for me instead of the operations manager, because they're always so busy. Usually an SE that doesn't really have a lot on the board would be willing to split with you.
That is exactly right. I mean, that's the both reasons I've got written down here is to either contact ops or contact an SE. So great stuff. I mean, we're just going to make sure too, if the property is not within a regulated state, otherwise they'll need a license, which we all know, to make sure the team member is located within the relative area. So the face-to-face, if it's going to be an operations team member, what is the spiff they get on that? How much? Stephanie.
500.
Brilliant. Perfect. Thank you. And then if we've got a field SE gonna meet, what would they be getting out of it?
250.
250.
Booyah. Brilliant. Well done. Fantastic. All right. So around, just by show of hands, how many of you have actually reached out to, local ops or an SE to meet with a homeowner? Basically everybody. Yeah. Great stuff. Lean on our partners. Brilliant. All right, so now we're just going to talk about establishing presence and realtor engagement. So connecting with realtors, and I know a lot of us on this call do a great job of that. Hey, Jeff, do you have a question? Oh, sorry, your hand was stopped there from the, cool. All right, so establishing presence and realtor engagement. So kick this one off with a quote. So a goal without a plan is just a wish. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, I'm going to say on that one, French writer. So quote is pretty succinct and to the point, not a whole lot to add to that, but breaks it down to a plan isn't going to work unless you put the work into it. So if we're just hoping that deals are going to fall into our laps, I think we all know that's not going to happen. We've got to grind and we've got to connect to make things happen in this role. All right, so local networking. All right, and this is really mostly going to pertain to people who do live in their markets. So places to network locally if you're on your market would be Chamber of Commerce events, websites like meetup.com. Have a play. Exactly, Bill, that's it. I used that, your quote in my last training, so thanks for that. Local town and municipality meetings or events. We've got to advocate for STRs. That is how we get paid. And then volunteer in your community, Habitat for Humanity, beach cleanups, things of that nature. Is there anyone who is a field SE on this call who's, done any of those things? Brittany, I see your hand up. Brilliant. Okay. Nate also. Perfect. Great. You might give me an example of one thing you have done? Let's start with, got full hands here. I'm just going to start with you, Kathleen, please.
I volunteered to help out with Winter Carnival this last year.
Lovely.
With the Chamber of Commerce, was visible. We had a small tent. So absolutely, I think it's super important.
Brilliant. Great stuff. Thank you. Nate.
Yeah, I'm part of the local short-term renters association. So I meet up with other people that are self-managing, other vendors, things like that. And then just doing local events, hosting a trunk or treat this past year, things like that. That just gets the name out.
Cool. Very cool. Great stuff. Sandy.
Yeah, I volunteered at a Food Lifeline event. So we were packing food for families in need, shelters, things like that. And I found that was really great to connect with the people there. They remember me, they recognize me because we spend 3 hours packing cereal. And then I also go to just other local events, networking, things like that. I think the important thing is to show up regularly so they know you. Yeah,
that's wonderful. Brilliant. Brittany.
I've done quite a few events. That's actually what I focus my business on. So I've joined probably 3 different realtor associations. We did the Florida Expo as well back in August. Then we did the Nation's Realtor Conference here in Orlando that they just held. And then I also do a lot of lunch and learns. So I actually teach realtors in the field. I prepared a presentation with them, and I go around to different realtor offices and just do a presentation all about what we do as a property management company.
Wow, you guys are blowing me away. This is all fantastic stuff. Great. Kerry.
Sorry about that. I was just going to say, I mean, mostly I focus on the realtors and the offices, trying to do the preferred partnerships, you know, versus like Chamber of Commerce. I find when I go to Chamber of Commerce stuff, it's more people trying to sell me different things, tchotchke, printing services, things like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the realtors, I mean, I'd say probably 65% of my business is by referral.
Huge. Wow, that's amazing. Great.
You know, like right now, I have like probably 6 that came in today that they want projections. So I send out a lot of projections, not that they all turn into business,
Mhm.
but it's just being a resource for them so they can be a resource for their people.
Great. Amazing stuff. Thank you, Kerry. Brilliant. All right. So local networking tips and tricks. So as another great segue, Kerry just pointed out, realtor offices are massive. So good things. I mean, if we go to realtor offices, do things like, drop off cookies, something that they can enjoy that they'll remember you by. Ask to pick up business cards and engage in conversations with realtors in the office. And also when you do something like that, be strategic, hit maybe 3-4 offices at once. And then you can, make the best use of your time. Another local networking tip and trick, just facilitate in-person coffee and breakfast meetings with realtors or other potential influencers in your community. For those of us who don't have the option to be in person, do something like, hold a class on Zoom and send them coffee via Grubhub or something. There are options around it, so you don't necessarily have to be in the market. Brittany.
I know that a lot of people that are coming from inside, sorry, I don't want to like take over the call. I just am used to being in the field. So yeah. I want to offer some advice. I had a call with Stephanie yesterday and I actually downloaded the Hi Hello app. And it's a free app. You don't have to pay for it. It's you can put all your social media on there. And when you're sending messages out to realtors, you can actually share it and you can put your picture with it and you can send it to them for them to see who you are. So you're not just sending to some stranger and get to know them. And then when you do that, you can also send, like you said, the gift cards and things like that to make those connections so that this way, even if you're not in that market, you can see it. So just a suggestion. Look into digital business cards. That is a huge help in our business. Sorry.
Really? No, great. Very great point. I mean, that's it too. You want to know who you're talking to. So that goes a long way, so they can learn a bit about you. I think that's a fantastic suggestion. Other things, attend open houses and realtor tours, present at real estate office meetings. Once again, do it virtually if you have to. Chamber of Commerce ribbon cuttings, investor associations, realtor associations, STR advocacy groups. Like Nate said, he does that with the local HOAs, stuff like that. Rotary clubs. So seek out speaking opportunities, present yourself as an authority on the vacation rental industry. People are going to look to us as the experts. So, I mean, it's great to know we know what we're doing, we know what we're talking about. So it's always great to also be well versed in, the local rules and regulations of where you are selling. All right, hosting events and realtor networking. So we've already dived a bit into this, but we're going to continue here. So productivity is never an accident. It is always the result of a commitment to excellence, intelligent planning, and focused effort. Paul J. Meyer. So in essence, the more work you put in, the greater the reward you're going to get out of it. And we only get better through practice and repetition. Like Kerry says, she gets, how many referrals come in. They might not all turn into something, but it's through that practice, that repetition, the more exposure she's got to that, she's going to get better. She's going to close more deals. All right, so hosting events. So some of you may have a budget for this. If you don't, or want to learn more, you can pair with your manager on this. So hosting events is going to be just a way to generate positive results by once again becoming the face of Vacasa in our market and driving those public relations in that area. So it's going to elevate brand awareness. It's going to expand your network. It's going to generate referrals once again. And it's just going to give us good word of mouth. I mean, one of us worked at events. Sandy worked at the, You know, the cereal packing thing, someone might say, hey, Sandy, she's great. We worked with her a lot. Spread the word to someone who does own an STR. The thing is, we all know someone who knows someone who owns an STR. So it's just a matter of making those connections and getting the word out. So I'm just going to put something in the chat here for everybody to check out. So this is an event kit guideline, just kind of a flyer. So you can look at that too, just to see how we do sub events, what materials and resources we do have, if that's something you're looking to do. All right. Also, hosting events, marketing, promoting. So it's going to be in that flyer I just sent in the chat. So do things like contact local media, look for sponsors. That's massive. Yep, it is super cool. Yeah. Door hangings or flyers. So we do have the materials. We can get these things. Social media is always huge, and it doesn't cost you anything. So that's a massive, massive thumbs up there. Local publications, if we can get, you know, local happenings, what we're doing, put in newspapers, magazines, radio ads, those community events that we are doing, if we can get that in print so more people can see. Fantastic stuff. Coffee shop postings, once again, Chamber of Commerce, real estate, got to leverage all of these memberships to get as much exposure and as following as we possibly can. All right, so small realtor events and networking. So these are just kind of some suggestions as far as coming up with events if you're having trouble thinking of what to do. So just to be, as it says here, be creative and host things regularly so people can keep remembering. No problem, Tyler. Take care, buddy. And just to create communication and just always have that constant communication with your network and with your local community. So we've just come up with a couple examples. So for example, a martini mixer would be just a monthly happy hour. I mean, it could even be a virtual monthly happy hour, just to pass out referral programs, get information from realtors, bacon and banter, monthly breakfast, just to meet some, you know, realtors or, you know, people of influence in your network for breakfast, and just enjoy the breakfast, but maybe use the last 10, 15 minutes to discuss about what we do and what we can do, our referral program, how people can get paid out by helping us. Dash and dine, not to be confused with Dine and Dash, is to just attend a Vacasa event and just get dinner to go for the people who show up. So it's great for realtors. We know realtors, time is money. They don't have a lot of time to sit around. So you feed them and they're on the way. Benefits everybody. Coffee chats. So invite a group of Vacasa hosted gathering at a local coffee shop, or give coffee, fruit, pastries, at the Vacasa brokerage, the local Vacasa brokerage brokerage office. And then you, once again, just use that last 10, 15 minutes to connect with them and discuss the referral program, just hand out information. The majority of the time should just be spent building a relationship, getting them to know you, that you're local, and, you know, what you like to do, what you're about, what your successes are. And then finally, just a luncheon. So just arrange to bring in lunch to realtor office. So, you know, order sandwiches, come with, if any office gets lunch brought in, you're automatically happy. Someone's bringing you lunch. And then once again, just use the last 10, 15 minutes to discuss what we can do for them. So the goal of all of these different options is just to build rapport, build trust, and just plug the realtor referral program. I mean, we want to farm referrals. So always get a list also of attendees. Make sure you get the business cards, the best phone numbers, the best contacts, so we can constantly stay in touch with these people. All right, thanks, George. See you later, buddy. There you go. Taking the new referral for a soup date Thursday. Lovely, brilliant. So larger events. So if you want to do something larger, you know, a bit more lavish, try and make it unique and memorable. Something that's cool, that's different. Realtors get invited to hundreds of these things, mixers, cocktail parties, lunches. So make sure it stands out, make sure it's fun, and just try something like it says here. Top golf is always fun, whether a good golfer or a terrible golfer. First track skiing, or take them to an event. Things like, say, other things that are small, don't cost any money. Beach cleanup doesn't cost anything. It's a great community building. It's great for rapport. Yoga event is massive. Things like mixers, happy hours, rodeo, lunches. There's a lot of different options. So, I mean, it's just use your imagination, what you can come up with to keep people interested in something that they're going to have a good time with. Perfect. Yep, exactly. LinkedIn. Brilliant, Amanda. And we're going to get there in just a second. All right. So why are realtor referrals so important? So if you just look at this graph here, it's going to tell you just the leads and the estimated conversion. So marketing driven inbound, it's going to be a 25%, 1 in 4 chance of conversion. Non-realtor event referrals, once again, 1 in 4, 25% conversion. Realtor referrals, 40%. It's quite a big jump there. And then sales generated, 35%. So as you see here, referral leads convert better than leads that are generated from all other marketing channels. So realtors are who we need to be talking to. So referred customers have a 16% higher lifetime value. Referral leads and signups continue during the busy season when it's harder to sign up owners. We all know that busy season, it does slow down. It's going to get harder, harder to convert to us. So, we're still going to have those realtor referrals coming in if you've made those connections. And like I said here, this is a symbiotic relationship. It takes two. Everybody's benefiting the other party. So where realtors may close more deals by providing home buyers with a property management revenue stream solution. How many people here have actually paired with realtors and, will provide realtors with a property, with one of our printouts? Looks like you have, Brittany. Brilliant. All right, so best practices to engage realtors. So we've mentioned time blocking kind of every week so far in training, but I think it is, as SEs, it's imperative just to set time aside each week to just connect, set an hour or two to connect with these realtors, to connect and increase our business. And it is all symbiosis. I mean, they're going to benefit from knowing us, and we're going to benefit from knowing them. So when we both work together, everybody's winning. So just block out time on your calendar on a weekly basis to achieve this networking. And then, as it says, they make it a goal to meet all realtors in your market over time. I mean, it's not a rush. Maybe connect with a couple every week and just keep that going. And it's going to grow and grow and grow. Complete realtor presentations, events, and office visits on a weekly basis. Like I said, this is if you're on field. Otherwise, there's nothing to stop, from reaching out for someone who isn't in that market, just to introduce themselves. Once again, send some pastries, send some coffees. So, brilliant. Yep. Valentine's Day is a great way to connect today. Brilliant. Send some chocolates. So realtor brokerage meetings, hopefully you can set up 1 to 3 a month. I want 1 to 3 a week, pardon me, or drop-ins to local offices. And then new realtor contacts per week, hopefully 5 to 10 contacts from those brokerage meetings. So that could be 30 a month that you're connecting with people. That's a lot of people who are selling homes, and it's a lot of exposure. All right, so finding realtor information. How do we find realtors to connect with to begin with? So first of all, I'm sure we're all familiar with realtor.com. A lot of us are probably realtors on this call also, but that's going to be able to find out who's local in your market and who to connect with. Google realty offices near you, and then just swing by to introduce yourself in person if you've got that option. Realtors, like I said, drop treats. Everybody's happy when someone shows up with treats. So always come with full hands, something to offer. Look for realtor groups or events on meetups.com. Has anyone actually used meetups.com on this call? Probably not. I mean, I've never used it personally for meeting realtors. I've done it for other things. So, I mean, that's a new one to me, but I mean, it's obviously another untapped resource we have. By an open house, Sandy?
I've looked into Meetup and I found Eventbrite to be better.
Okay.
So sometimes there's like events like investor mixers or realtor events on Eventbrite.
Brilliant. That's great feedback, everybody. Eventbrite, yeah. So I'll get that added on the training slide too. So also use MLS. If you've got Access Realtors, we all know how to use MLS. That's fantastic. Yep. Facebook also, Brittany. Great. And then pull a realtor list from the SFDC database, so salesforce.com database. We can also pull, filter it to pull up realtors that way too. All right. So what I like to do here is just share a couple quotes from SEs on our team and what their go-to strategies are, as far as networking, being creative. So if I could get a volunteer to read this first quote from Courtney for me, please. Edie, please.
Be creative. I leverage social media and send a message to agents when I see great listing on Facebook or LinkedIn. I have a template. I send new agents on how the program works so they have knowledge to share with clients. I use MLS and find recently listed homes and reach out to new agents and on their email or cell. I again send my template to them. I also text letting them know I saw their listing and would love to chat with them about it. From
Great.
Courtney on our team in Bethany Beach.
Perfect. Great stuff. I don't know if Courtney's on this call, but well done. I mean, that's a great quote. It's just showing that she's leveraging things here. It's things that don't cost a dime to do. She's just putting in that extra work to get that extra exposure. So I'm sure a lot of us are already using Facebook, LinkedIn, and MLS, but this sums it all up and it's bringing us success. So really good stuff. Next, we have a quote from Chaz as to how to be strategic. If I could please have a volunteer read this for me. Kathleen, please.
Be strategic. I try to go directly to the broker owner who understands it's an extension of their office brand to help offer the best solution to their clients. It's simple, effective to meet with them, and then they share with their agents. Plus, invite me to a team meeting to present.
Great. Thank you, Kathleen. Yeah, I mean, you can see here his whole approach is just all business. Just get to the point, get to who you need to talk to. And it's, that's been effective for him. So great stuff. And then be consistent. Can I get a reader for this last quote from Dana, please? Stephanie.
Be consistent. Stay in touch with realtors via text message, phone call, or pop in to office to say hello and drop off treats, candy, donuts, fruit, etc.
Brilliant. Thank you, Stephanie. I mean, that's a job is all about being consistent. It's about, keep making those calls, keep following up. If we stop by once with donuts and we don't show our face ever again, they're probably not going to remember us. But by, staying on the mind, coming by, maybe every couple of weeks, drop off donuts, drop off flyers, they're going to remember that person who keeps coming back to them and go, hey, Stephanie came by. I remember she does short-term rentals. I've got a referral for you. There you go. So it's really just making connections and staying in their mind. And like I said, if you can stop by, if you do have the time, do it as much as you can. I mean, if you're bringing stuff, they're probably never going to get tired of you. So depending on what your budget is. All right. So next, we're just going to go over LinkedIn. So engaging on LinkedIn. So show of hands, is anyone in the class not on LinkedIn? And it's perfectly fine if you're not. Looks like we're all on there. All right. Well, that's good stuff. All right, so another quote here. So we're living at a time when attention is the new currency. Those who insert themselves into as many channels as possible look set to capture the most value. Pete Cashmore, founder of Mashable.com. So once again, it's about planting a seed and promoting your own brand and just leveraging your connections. So we'll probably see, I mean, we can all probably identify with, we see some people on LinkedIn who are always on LinkedIn. Like, oh, here's another post. But that person is getting more exposure than any of us by having all those posts. So it definitely does behoove us all to, I mean, don't overshare, but I mean, there's no harm in exposing yourself on as many of these channels as possible. Oops. All right, so LinkedIn Insights. So if I could have some volunteers read those different boxes for me, please. Start with strong networks. Lisa.
Strong networks. Employee networks have 10 times more connections than a company has followers.
Massive. That is a huge stat. Thank you, Lisa. Trusted content. Jamie.
Trusted content. People are 3 times more likely to trust company information shared by an employee than that shared by a brand.
That's huge too. I mean, Jamie's going to get 3 times more people, trusting her than just a regular Vacasa post on its own. Massive. Valued relationships. Joe, please. Thank you.
Valued relationships. Social followers or connections of employees are 7 times more likely to convert to customers.
Thanks, Joe. Huge. That's huge. 7 times more. Talent attraction. Cameron.
Companies with high numbers of employees sharing quality content are 58% more likely to attract talent.
Great. Brilliant. Thanks, Cameron. Better engagement. Sandy, please.
Content has 2 times higher engagement when shared by employees.
Massive. Thank you, Sandy. And then network opportunities. Looks like Joe, please.
86% of employees who share content grow their networks 3 times faster and boost profile views by 6 times.
Brilliant. Thanks, Joe. I mean, just look at those stats there. It's just mind blowing. Just how much we can get out of posting something on LinkedIn. And then you see below, in-mail response rate for followers of Vacasa's LinkedIn page, 31%. Huge. So how many people on this chat have updated their LinkedIn since joining Vacasa? Looks like everybody there. Great stuff. I mean, that's it. Everything needs to be current because things change every day. I mean, also that said, I'm sure we've also seen how many people have seen someone post on LinkedIn a message that was, old and didn't make sense anymore, and it was out of context. I'm sure we've all seen stuff like that too. So anything that's that kind of out of date or too personal or unprofessional, that's not what we want to be showing. Kerry. Oh, gotcha. No problem. All right, which leads me to the do's and do nots of LinkedIn. So I don't think I need to tell everyone, I mean, LinkedIn isn't the place for, politics or personal rants. It is networking to do, and also, a site to find employment. So the do's would be to share our content, create your own content, share industry and market specific content. So even if it isn't from us, just to show what's going on in the market is great. And then just add value through your posts. So we're not just sending off a, Vacasa post, put your own 2 cents in there and let people know what your opinion is on that. Do not share dated content. As I mentioned, something that is old might not still pertain. Things might have changed. So we don't want people getting the wrong idea. Do not share opinion pieces. Once again, I think we all know that, just to keep our opinions to ourselves. And don't share negative posts about competitors. I'm sure we all see a lot of negative posts from our competitors about us, but it's not the way to go. It's kind of a low blow to the belt when people do go that way. It's always just best to take the high ground to go, well, if that's the way they feel, fantastic. But, that's not the way we operate. There's no traffic on the high road. There you go. The high road's always open, Jackie. All right, so best practices for sharing, engaging, and posting. So before engaging with content, make sure you read the full article. Very important. How many of us read an article and then it's got nothing to do with the headline, or the headline is 1 sentence at the end of the entire thing? So often headlines don't convey the article's full message. When mentioning Vacasa, make sure to tag Vacasa or use hashtag Vacasa. Once again, it's going to get us more exposure, get more people looking at your post. Providing commentary on a post generates discussion and boosts brand engagement. That's exactly what that's for. Also, visit the Vacasa Brand Center for more information on the company's social media guidelines. And also the Vacasa Brand Center, I don't know how many of us utilize it. Hopefully by show of hands we do, which it's just got great, downloading logos, photographs, just marketing materials. It's a great resource for all of us. So that's going to be in the one hub. You can actually click on it through one login. There's going to be a tile there for the brand center. And then Vacasa's social media policy, page 12 of the Vacasa Employee Handbook. Take some time to read that too, but it's really just going to cover what we said. Don't, we're not here to put up old information that isn't true, or give our opinion on something. So please note, if members of the media, including bloggers, podcasters, or influencers, reach out to you for interviews, comment, or participation in their content, please contact pr@vacasa.com before proceeding. Has anyone had any bloggers, podcasts, or influencers reach out to them? I can't say that I ever did. Maybe influencers if they're looking to take pics in a house or something. Sandy.
I work with a realtor who has his own YouTube channel.
Okay.
And we wanted to do an event that he also wanted to film and stuff like that. And I did reach out to PR, and that was very helpful.
Great. How did that go? Did you end up doing the event?
Not yet, because we're trying to find a good house to do the event ad, and haven't found a homeowner that has agreed yet.
That's exciting though, yeah. That's a cool idea. Great. All right, so that's gonna take us to the takeaways. We're kind of getting out of here a little quick, guys, so thank you for playing along with me. So takeaways and homework for today's session. So first we're going to go to the takeaways. So what we want you to take away today is just how to effective ways to network and grow your network, how to build a social media presence, how to engage realtors, and then forming relationships with operation teams. It seems like the majority of us on this call, if not all of us, are savvy to this stuff anyway. So thank you for just being patient during the refresher here. I know it is kind of high level information. So how to be successful. So host a networking event if you are in market. If not, see if you can do something online. Create a LinkedIn posting schedule. So people are always seeing you. You're constantly in their feed. Attend a realtor event. Get to know your local community. Get to know your local realtors. And then attend local ops meetings. Fantastic stuff. I mean, that's the thing. If we can partner with ops and they know who we are, it's going to make a much smoother relationship. There's nothing worse when an ops, an ops manager has got an SE bugging them for 50 things. They have no idea who this person is. And just, there's no context to it. So to create those relationships is absolutely massive. And thanks for that, Brittany, for putting in the digital card. That's a fantastic idea too. So homework. So what I'd like everybody to do is, if you're not already, please follow Vacasa on LinkedIn. I think majority of us are. If some of us aren't, if you could take, the 2 minutes to do that. And then also we have a self-reflection to complete. Let me actually just put this in the chat. And the self-reflection is just going to reflect on the last 4 weeks of your training, just to get a pulse on what you think, what you like, what you don't like. I mean, please be honest. If there's stuff you've taken away, fantastic. If there's things you think could be done differently, we're only going to get better when we get better feedback. So does anyone have any questions with that homework assignment? Has everyone got it in the chat, the form there? Sandy.
Do we still need to send an email to you guys? Because the form.
No, you don't. Yeah, so everybody on this class don't have to send an email this week. So just fill out the reflection. And then, like I said, follow LinkedIn. I'm not going to stalk you. So look at everyone's LinkedIn. Any new connections. So no worries there. Jackie.
I wanted to, I updated the slide deck and I don't think it flowed through. We forgot to ask or add to this list your favorite takeaways. So we would love an email for that reason. It's also part of how we're attendance tracking, and your RSMs are supposed to be copied on that email. And that's how they also have sort of a pulse on accountability as far as your trainings here. So please send us an email.
Will do.
Sorry about
we
that.
like responding to all 360 of them.
So yes, do send an email. My apologies there for mine.
Don't apologize. I just made that change while you were in here.
No problem. Lisa.
Just to make sure I understood. So in that email, we want it to be our favorite takeaways from the training so far.
Jackie, is that what you're looking for then today? Just to take away from the trainings, just today's training? You're on mute there.
Okay, great.
There you go. I took over the screen. That's the updated slide.
Okay, thank you.
Apologies to Daniel.
No apologies needed.
Whoop.
All right, everybody. Well, if anyone doesn't have any questions, I know you've had a kind of back-to-back days, morning so far. So I'll give everybody the time back. So have a wonderful rest of your day and a super successful week. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel.
Have a
Thank
great
you,
day.
Daniel.
Cheers. Take care.
Bye.